Yo, what's good? It's Ronnie Mikasa here. Alright, today I'm going to be showcasing my homemade deck. Best defense in the game currently in this new meta, or this new season, I would say. Right now, the game is dominated by Goblin Giant, and I'm about to show you the top decks on Royale API right now. So this one is Goblin Giant, Prince Rage with the Goblin Machine, and then the next deck is going to be P.E.K.K.A. Ram Rider. So the common theme here you're going to see is just everyone's using the Rage, everyone's using the P.E.K.K.A., everyone's using the Evo Goblin Giant because it's busted, everyone's using the Fisherman. Yeah, it's basically the same 5 decks, honestly. So, all 5 decks are really just like the same archetype, and it's just Goblin Giant, Goblin Giant, Goblin Giant. So, this is my deck that I'm using right now to counter. So, the recruits are going to do a really good job against the Prince and also the P.E.K.K.A. And the Evo Baby Dragon, the new Evo Baby Dragon's 1 cycle. So both are 1 cycle, right? So because both of my evolutions are 1 cycle, I really don't need to play anything in single elixir, so I can leak basically as much as I want in, like, as long as they're leaking as well. So I'll show you my battle log. So we actually played against the #1 deck in the game, the P.E.K.K.A. and the Goblin Giant. So at the start of the game, I'm kind of just waiting for them to play. I don't need to go into them, because if I play something, then they just go Prince, Goblin Giant, opposite lane, and then I lose the game. So you kind of just want to wait for them to play into you. So he plays his arrows, so I'm just going to cycle my Baby Dragon. In this specific matchup, he does not have Prince, but usually they do use Prince if they're not using P.E.K.K.A. So it's kind of just a 2 deck, so you gotta watch out for it. I get a really nice Musketeer here. The Musketeer has 6 tile range, and also perfect skeletons to protect my recruits, which means that I'm gonna have a dual lane push. So he decides to minions, then pressure at the bridge and kill my Musketeer, but I'm gonna slow down so you guys can re-look at that skeleton placement. So like, he's not really thinking about raging because I just have my recruits and their shields, so it's not really something that he would rage, and I don't even think he knows that I placed the skeletons down. So I get really good vines on this tower, and still 1 minion's up, but I'm going to get a lot of damage. And also on the right side, since he's pressured, he can't defend the right side, right? So I basically have half of his other tower, and I'm going to get his right tower, basically. But he ends up actually Panic Fishermaning, giving up his elixir lead, so I'm actually gonna ignore that Fisherman, and then I'm just gonna take his tower. So what I'm kind of thinking here is that I want to take both towers because I want to get rid of his Pancake ability, alright? So on this push right here, he's actually gonna get his Pancake, and I'm not gonna be able to kill his other Pancake tower. So we're gonna have to actually defend here. So he didn't play Goblin Giant, so I know he's gonna play minions up high, so I'm gonna start poisoning. And then he actually sends his Goblin Giant late, so we're gonna have to play recruits on this and then vines. But he also vines as well, so my recruits are pretty cooked. And then he also gets the arrows down. So the thing about the Evo Goblin Giant is it's always going to get damage. Alright, it's completely busted. Gets damage every time, you just got to minimize it, right? So, just like I said earlier, I just played my Musk in the middle to take care of his other Chef Tower. So now his P.E.K.K.A. cannot go to level 16 because he has no more pancakes, right? And that's going to be really easy to defend now because I have both of his towers. He doesn't have any of mine. So honestly, I just gotta play my recruits, and then I just gotta play my bomb tower in the middle, and that's basically gonna be game over. And I also actually predict his minions right here, so I free poison because I know that he's gonna try to snipe my Baby Dragon. You can see me emoting a little bit right there. But yeah, that's gonna be a 3 crown for game 1. pretty close to Ultimate Champion. I'm actually in Royal Champ right now, so I'll probably hit Ultimate Champion later tonight, and I'll probably be in like top 300. So pretty good, pretty decent start to the season. I'm really happy that I found this deck, like, or not found it, but I made it. So let's get into this giant graveyard game right here. Originally, you would think that the bowler would counter my deck because bowler against recruits is usually like a pretty good matchup for him. But the bowler is probably the worst card in the game right now, so yeah, we're not worried about that bowler. And then I also have poison for his minions or either his graveyard, kind of depending on which one I want to play. Like, maybe he only has his minions for defense, so I can poison his minions. Or maybe he goes in for a giant graveyard and I can just poison his graveyard. So we have a lot of options on how to defend him, and he also has a lot of options on how to defend me. However, I'm not running a I'm not running a meta deck or even a known deck. I'm just using something that I cooked up. So this guy has no idea how to play against me, really. So he actually goes with a, or actually recruits in the back after waiting 40 seconds. So he plays his bowler in the back, which you don't really want to do. You usually want to play your bowler in the middle, right? So it defends both sides of the recruits. However, I'm going to play my Musk in the middle, in the bottom middle, right? So it's going to defend the bowler, and then it's going to get knocked back so I can defend his Musketeer push. And he's probably going to play Giant into that because he's going to obviously protect his Musketeer, right? So you're going to see right now my Musketeer placement. So I get an early poison off on the Musketeer, and then I get the vines off to finish it. And as you can see, just like predicted, my Musketeer is now defending both sides, or defended both sides, but he does get the best arrows off of all time. So he's actually going to get a good amount of damage, about 1600. But as I told you guys, this deck in double elixir does not lose. Alright, this deck in double elixir does not lose. That's usually how recruits decks go. So I don't really need to defend those two gardens on the right. So I'm going to start setting up my pushes. And obviously I can't recruit into his bowler, right? So I ended up actually just holding off and just poisoning it. So I get a couple hits with my baby dragon, and I kind of just abuse his bowler placement. So I gotta protect my Musketeer here. I get a really good recruits off. So the bowler only hits one recruit, and then I'm also gonna just play the vines to have my recruits take care of the giant and the Musketeer. And since he played minions, I actually have to kill this giant like ASAP, so I'm going to play the skeletons down low. Now I'm not going to overplay with the baby dragon on the minions because I just don't need to. And he actually had to overplay himself on my push on the left. So that means that he no longer has his Musketeer in cycle, which means I'm going to go in for a balloon push here. And I know that he only has minions, so I'm holding my poison right now, and I'm looking to play it. Alright, so he played the minions, so I go in with the poison. The reason why I don't pre-poison is because if I do, he can just go giant graveyard opposite lane, right? So you really want to be careful that you don't overplay on one side because he can just take your tower by giant graveyarding on the other. So now we got to set up our defense. That's a dead tower. But now he has a pretty hefty push with a bowler, a giant, and a Musketeer. So I'm looking to get my bomb tower down in the middle, and it's actually going to collate the bowler, which is a big reason why I love using the bomb tower. So 1, 2, nice. Look at that. And then our baby dragon will finish it off. And then we can put our skeletons on top of the Musketeer to kill the Musketeer while it locks onto the baby dragon. And yeah, that's game over. So we did a really good job that game, not overplaying and being cautious of his giant graveyard at the bridge potential. And we pressured just enough. Dude, I mean, just look at this battle log. That hog, the hog firecracker is a very hard matchup. I've beat it once, but the other game I played it like maybe 2 times, and I've lost the other 2 times. But yeah, look at this battle log. It's about a 50%. About 50% of the time I'm playing against Goblin Giant, right? Like, I don't know how this card just goes untouched. Like, there's just no reason to use Golem. There's no reason to use E-Giant when you can just use Goblin Giant. So I think they need to nerf the other card, or they need to nerf that card and maybe buff the like E-Giant and buff the Golem again. Because right now there's just no reason to use any other card than the Goblin Giant, bro. So when he plays his skeletons and he has his pancake tower, I already know he's using Goblin Giant. But once his P.E.K.K.A comes down, now I know he's not using Prince. So that gives me some good information. And every time I see the P.E.K.K.A in the back, I'm just gonna go with my recruits, right, in single. And as you can see, I played my Musketeer a tile below the top, if that makes sense. So now, when he tries to snipe it with his Goblin Giant, his Spear Goblins are actually not going to snipe my Musketeer. They're actually going to snipe the recruits, right? So that's why I decided to play it a tile below the top. So now my Musketeer is locked onto the P.E.K.K.A, and we're going to be able to defend his push very easily in single Elixir, and that's a very important thing with my deck. You cannot die in single Elixir. You just have to hold out. It's not a bad single Elixir deck, but it really thrives in double, like I said. So we're just going to eat the damage on the Bomber. And, yeah, it's like I said with the Goblin Giant. Honestly, it's just so broken that you're just minimizing damage. You're always going to take damage. You cannot defend it perfectly. It's just not possible. So, what sucks here is, like, that's kind of a terrible Goblin Machine because he thought it would snipe my Baby Dragon. But it's kind of like he's so bad that he made a smart play, because now I have to play recruits on on his Goblin Machine, and that's not what we want to do because he has his double Evo push, so that's actually gonna suck. But like, there's nothing that we really could have done. So I mean, we take care of his Goblin Giant, but I mean, he just places a Bomber to defend the left, and even though we're up 2,000 damage. I'm gonna have to defend his double Evo push, and this is the most broken push in the game. So, hey man, get that seatbelt on, get the popcorn, bro, because we're about to go crazy on defense here. And remember, we're really just trying to keep our tower up by any means. He's obviously gonna get damage on us, so I have a pretty good setup here. I placed my bomb tower out of the range of the Musketeer and out of the range of the tower. So if he wants to Vines, he's going to have to Vines something else. He's not going to get that bomb tower. So I get a pretty good Vines right here. So my bomb tower is actually going to hit the P.E.K.K.A and the Goblin Giant at the same time because of how I stopped it. And then I'm also DPSing the P.E.K.K.A down with the Vines, with the Musketeer, with the Skeletons. So we have a pretty good defense going on right now on his broken push. Yeah, so he's probably going to play like a Rage on top of the Skeletons, but he actually goes into the Vines on the Musketeer and the Bomb Tower, but like I said, he's not hitting my Princess Tower, so that's still up. And look at I got my Evo Baby Dragon down, and it just slows the P.E.K.K.A down so much. So even though the P.E.K.K.A still had a good amount of remaining health, because it heals every time it hits the Skeletons, I play my Musketeer low, so now my Musketeer is going to DPS down that P.E.K.K.A. And our tower's going to be up, so he only gets one hit. And I'm going to balloon into my Evo Baby Dragon, so as you can see, the Evo Baby Dragon will speed it up a little bit. And he doesn't have any air card because I am running a hard counter to his deck. So as you can see, my deck works really well against this meta P.E.K.K.A Goblin Giant deck that everyone is using. So now I just got to defend both sides. Bomb tower in the middle, Vines to kill the Goblin Machine, and yeah, it's GG right there. Perfect defense. We only took like we barely took any damage on his double Evo push. Just fantastic defense in our deck, right? The Musketeer puts in so much work. You really got to make sure that you DPS to P.E.K.K.A down with it. So yeah, the poison, it's gonna do wonders against like the minions and the graveyard, and then the bomb tower is going to be able to take out the goblin drills that people use. It's going to take out royal hogs. It's going to take out recruits. It also survives hog EQ, but I actually don't think that we have matchup against hog EQ, but because of their cycle, like how often they can log and stuff. Like they just spam logs against our recruits and it just hurts a lot. And the cycle's so quick that they can just keep cannoning, and then they just get their evo cannons. So yeah, the poison, it does 272, and the vines, it does 110. So that's 372 tower damage. Just when you're playing and you're using spells, you have to write down, like maybe make a note of how much damage your spells do, and then you're gonna be like knowledgeable in the game of like, oh, okay, the tower's at this much health. I can like play 2 poisons on it, or I can do poison vines and I take his tower. So just knowing how much damage your spells do, that's a huge part of the game. And then also, like if you're gonna make a homemade deck like I am, you have to really make sure that it counters the meta decks. That's the most important thing. You can't just blindly create your own homemade deck, or else it's just not gonna work. So like as you can see, this deck is really good against the current meta that everyone's using. So yeah, man, thanks for watching. That's gonna be all.